Welcome, everyone. Why don't we begin now? This is our 45-minute Tuesday Vinyasa. And for those of you in Denver, and I know not all of you are, but for those of you in Denver, it was a gloriously beautiful day today. Seemed more like late spring than midwinter, but I was out most of the day, which was wonderful, nice and sunny. And I hope you were able to get out too and enjoy a little bit of the sunshine and the warmth. We may have maybe one more day like that this week. Well, let's begin our practice now. Just find, as usual, a seated posture, either cross-legged or on your knees. And then let your eyes close down. And just take a few moments to become present. And I talk about presence pretty much in every class, and it probably would make sense to tell you what I mean by that. What I mean by presence is to let go of those things that would drag you away from being in the here and now, like thinking about what's happened in the past, maybe something as simple as you were kind of rushed to get here today. Or maybe you're thinking about preparation of dinner after class is over or something like that, or something that's going to go on later this evening or tomorrow. And what I'm inviting you to do is just let go of all of that. And once you let go of both the past and the future, once you let go of the past and the future, then you're automatically going to drop into this present moment, and that's what I'd like you to focus on. This moment, whatever that means to you. Maybe it means how your body feels. Maybe it means the sensations you are experiencing at this moment. Whatever it is, allow yourself to come to presence. And I'm going to take, and you can join me, just a few breaths to sort of let go of everything, to center myself, and to prepare both mentally and physically for the practice ahead. So join me breathing in and breathing out. And now one more. Good. Now release your hands, reach them up and overhead. And then bring the palms together, interlace your fingers, and then press the palms towards the sky. Take a little bend, just a very gentle one to the right, and then back to center, another gentle bend to the left. Back to center, reach up through the palms, stretch up high, and then keep the fingers interlaced, keep your arms straight if you can, and very slowly, as I'm doing, bring your arms down. Now press the palms into the mat. Bend the elbows and bring your forehead down towards your hands. Feel that nice stretch in the low back. Now straighten the elbows. And on an inhale, slowly lift the arms up and overhead. And then stretch the palms towards the sky. Look up towards the palms. And then release the hands. Bring them out to a T. Take the left hand down and reach the right hand up and over. Stay grounded in that right sitting bone. Inhale and rise back up, right hand down, and reach the left hand up and over. Just continue flowing now from side to side, bringing the left hand down, and then reaching up and over with the right hand, and then bring the right hand down, and reach up and over with the left hand. Feel that stretch on the left side body. Inhale, rise back up. Bring the arms out to a T. Now take a twist to the left. And bring the left hand down behind you, right hand to left knee. Take a deep breath in, draw your navel in towards your spine, and then exhale and let it go. Arms come back out to a T, over to the other side. Left hand to right knee, right hand down behind you. Breathe in deeply. And exhale, draw the navel towards the right as you exhale. Do that one more time, breathing in. And exhale, and let it go. Reach the arms up and overhead. Bring the palms together. Now interlace the fingers. Bring the hands to the back of the head. Now reach your elbows apart. Draw your navel in so you're not arching the lower back too much. Now bring the right elbow down and slowly lift the left elbow up. Now engage the core as you rise back up and bring the left elbow down and reach the right elbow up. And again, other side, left elbow down, right elbow down, left elbow up. And inhale and rise back up, engaging the core, and bring that left elbow down, maybe a little bit more, and then inhale and rise all the way back up. Now lift the chin, press the hands into the back of the head. Now press your chest up towards the sky, and then as you exhale, bring the elbows together if you can. Bring the elbows down and see if you can touch the mat with the elbows. Big stretch of the low back. Inhale, rise back up. Reach the elbows apart. Lift the chin and the chest. And exhale, bring the elbows together, and then bring the elbows down towards the mat. One more time like that. Inhale, rising. Little back bend. And exhale, elbows come together and bring them down. And then inhale and rise all the way back up. Now release the hands, stretch them up towards the sky. That is, press the palms into the sky, so keep your fingers interlaced. And then release the hands. Bring the hands down to the knees. Now sit up nice and tall. Cross-legged posture is nice here. Breathe in deeply. And imagine that the top of your head is reaching up towards the sky, so the neck is lengthening. Now relax the shoulders a little bit. And then let your left ear come towards your left shoulder and begin to feel a stretch on the right side of the neck. And then see if you can relax your right shoulder a little bit. Now let your chin come to your chest. On an inhale, lift the chin up. And as you exhale, bring the chin back so it's level. Now right ear towards the right shoulder, and then relax the left shoulder. You ought to start to feel a nice stretch on the left side of the neck there. Now chin comes to chest. Inhale, lift the chin up. And exhale, and bring the chin back so it's level. Breathe in deeply. And let the breath go. Do that one more time. A big deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Arms come out to a T. We're going to twist again, this time starting to the right. Left hand to right knee. Right hand is behind you. Press that right palm into the mat. Draw the navel to the right. Look over the right shoulder. One more breath. Engage the core as you come back to center, and then over to the other side. Right hand to left knee. The left hand is down behind you now. Breathe in. And exhale and twist a little bit more deeply. And then let it go. Bring it all back to center. And now let's find table pose. So you can roll over your knees. Come to table pose on all fours, hands and knees. And check in, make sure that your knees are under your hips and your hands are right under your shoulders. Press the hands into the mat a little bit so that your shoulders lift up a bit. Now, cow pose, drop your belly and lift your chin. And then exhale into cat pose. Remember here to press your hands into the mat and lift your navel up. So draw your navel up towards your spine, deepening the forward fold, the forward arch of the back. Then the other way, cow pose on the inhale. And then exhale into cat pose. Continue flowing through. First cow, and then cat. And we're going to go about 7 times through, so about 4 more. Inhaling to cow, and exhaling to cat. Twice more. Inhaling to cow, and exhaling to cat. Let's do twice more. Inhaling to cow, and then exhaling to cat. Now walk your hands forward. So the hands come forward just about 4 or 5 inches. And now press your hips off to the right and stay grounded in both hands. So the tendency is to kind of pick that left hand up, but that'll take the stretch out of the hip on the right side. Bring your hips back to center and then over to the left side and stay grounded in that right hand. So keep pressing that right hand deeply into the mat. And then back to center. Let's do one more time to the right. And back to center, and one more time to the left. And now bring it back to center, and now glide the hips forward, and lift your chin, and then as you exhale, press back towards child's pose. Keep the knees where they are. Don't move the knees on the mat. On an inhale, glide forward again, and drop the hips down. lift the chin into a back bend, and exhale, and press back again towards child's pose. Come back so the spine is in a neutral posture. Then press the hips to the right, and then bring them forward. We're going to make hip circles, and then to the left. Then press the hips back, and then to the right. And just continue going around a few times one way. You can let your eyes close down and really enjoy, if you can, this beautiful flowing motion. It's almost like dancing. About 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. And then from there, walk the hands back so the hands are under the shoulders, and we've come back to all fours. Now, reach that, pick the right knee up, so not reach it, but pick it up. The knee is bent, and it's pointing off about 90 degrees to your right. Now see if you can pull that knee forward so it touches the shoulder. Now straighten the right leg and press straight back through the right heel with the toes pointing to the right. So the hip is open, that right hip. Now bend the right knee and bring it forward again, touching the shoulder, and then let the knee drop down, and then straighten the leg, pressing back, and then bend the knee and bring it forward. We're making circles with that right knee, obviously. We'll go around a few times doing that, working on those muscles on the outside of the hips, the abductor muscles. Then maybe go back the other way a couple of times. And then finish by reaching that right heel straight back, toes pointing down so your hips are level. Keep the right hand on the mat. Reach the left hand forward into table extension pose. If you like, point the toes on the right foot. Reach through the fingertips of the left hand. 2 more breaths. Keep pressing that right hand into the mat. The right elbow is straight. Now bring elbow towards knee and round your spine, and then exhale and reach out. Do that a second time. Elbow comes towards knee, and then exhale and reach out. And one more time on this side. Elbow towards knee, and reach it out, and bring the hand down, and then bring the knee down. Inhale to cow pose, and exhale to cat, and inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. One more time. Inhale to cow pose, and exhale to cat, and then come back to a neutral spine. We're going to go over to the other side now. Pick that the left knee up, pointing the left knee off to the left 90 degrees. Bring the left knee forward towards the shoulder, then straighten the left leg. Press back through the left heel, toes on that left foot pointing to the left. Now rotate the toes so they point down. Bring the knee forward, and then lift it up and out. And we're going to make some circles with the left knee, just like we did on the other side. Go around very slowly and mindfully, a few times one way, and 2 or 3 times back the other. Just begin to notice what it feels like to begin to activate those muscles in that hip on the left side. Finish by reaching the left heel straight back. Stay grounded in the left hand. Reach the right hand forward into table extension pose. Point the toes if you want to. Notice now the core is engaging just as it did on the other side. Feel the abdominal muscles, the gluteal muscles, the low back muscles all working pretty hard there. Now elbow comes towards knee, spine rounds, and reach out. Second one, elbow towards knee, and reach out. Let's do one more. Elbow towards knee, and exhale and stretch it out. And then bring the right hand down, and bring the left knee down. Let's circle the hips. You can walk the hands forward a few inches if you want, if that makes it feel better, feel more grounded. Then maybe back the other way a few times. And then come back to a neutral spine. Bring the hands so they're right under the shoulders. Then press back, hips to heels, into our child's pose. Glide forward. Kind of lift your navel up as you glide forward. Then drop the navel down. Lift the chin. Press the chest forward into our knees down, upward dog. One more time. Press back towards child's pose. And then glide forward. And from here, we're going to move into downward dog. So tuck your toes and then lift your hips. And let's find downward facing dog. Press the heels towards the mat and just take a breath and begin to feel sensation in the back of the legs. And then pedal it out. Bend one knee and then the other. And one knee and then the other. So just go side to side. And for most of you, this is going to create some sensation in the back of the legs and into the gluteal muscles. And maybe one more time on each side. And then find stillness in downward dog. Press your hands into the mat. Lengthen your spine by making an effort to reach your tailbone towards the top of the wall behind you. On an inhale, lift your left leg up. And then step the left foot all the way forward, bringing it between the hands into runner's lunge. And then bring your right knee to the mat, untuck the toes, step into the left foot, and reach the arms high into our low crescent lunge. Take a breath and let the breath go. Do that again, a big deep breath. Gaze is straight forward and let it go. Bring the hands behind you now. Interlace your fingers behind your back. See if you can touch the skin of the palms together. And then straighten the elbows. Draw the shoulder blades together. And if you like, maybe lift your chin up so you're looking towards the sky. Moving into a nice deep back bend. Breathe. Now release the hands. Reach them back up. And then bring the hands down on either side of that left foot. Tuck your toes and bring your right knee off the mat. Step the left foot back to plank pose. Just pause for a moment in plank and breathe. One more breath. Good job. Bring the knees to the mat now, and we're going to come into cobra pose. Lift the heart up off the mat. Remember, the pubic bone presses into the mat in cobra pose. Just feel that nice, beautiful back bend. And then release down. Now tuck your toes, push to plank, and then let your hips rise into downward facing dog. 2 breaths now in downward dog as you press the heels down towards the mat, lengthening the spine. And on an inhale, reach your right leg up, and then step the right foot forward, bringing it between the hands. Left knee comes to the mat, and reach the arms up and overhead. Low crescent lunge, just like we did on the other side. Keep reaching through the wrists. Good job. Couple more breaths. Keep it going. One more. Now bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers in the awkward way, and see if you can press your knuckles towards that left heel as you let your chest rise and lift your chin. Breathe deeply into the heart space. And then release. Reach the arms up. And then exhale the hands down, bringing them on either side of the right foot. Tuck the toes and bring your left knee off the mat. And step the left foot forward this time into a forward fold. Let your head drop down in the forward fold. You can take opposite elbows if you want. Knees can bend here. See if you can reduce the distance between the elbows and the mat. Now arms come out to a T. Press into the front of the feet and rise nice and slow so you really feel that in the glutes, in the back of the legs. Rising up, reverse swan dive, reach up high. And then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Inhale up. Now arms out to a 45-degree angle, palms facing up. Lift your chin, find a back bend, bring the weight into the front of the feet. Inhale, reach up high. And swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift. And exhale, let your head drop down. Right foot stays forward, left foot steps back. Now the right foot steps back to meet the left foot into plank pose. Take a breath. Bring the knees to the mat. Chest and chin are going to follow, coming into our second cobra pose, lifting the heart up off the mat. Allow the back bend to deepen if you can. And then release all the way down. Tuck your toes, push it up to plank, and lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Good job. Take a breath. And one more. On an inhale, lift the left leg up, and then step the left foot forward. Bring it between the hands. Right knee comes to the mat. This is our second low crescent lunge on this side. Reach the arms up and overhead. Check in with your hips. Make sure your hips and your shoulders are squared to the front of the mat. Now bring the arms out to a T, and then take a twist to the left, bringing the right elbow to the knee and joining the palms. Lift that left elbow up and overhead. Take a breath. Come out by reaching the left hand back, reaching the right hand forward. The torso has come so it's perpendicular to your mat. Palms are facing to your left. Now back to center, reach up high, and then exhale the hands down. Tuck the toes, bring the right knee off the mat, left foot steps back, plank pose, take a breath. And now knees to the mat, chest and chin follow, another cobra pose. Lift the heart up off the mat in cobra. Try and relax your back a little bit. And then release. Tuck your toes, push to plank, and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Stretch it out. On an inhale, lift your right leg high, and then step that right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Left knee comes to the mat, and rise to low crescent lunge, reaching the arms up. Check in again with the shoulders and hips. You may need to pull that left hip forward a little bit so it's square to the front of the mat. Now the arms come out to a T, and take your prayer twist, bringing the left elbow to the right knee, joining the palms together, reaching the right elbow high. Take a breath. Come out the same way we did on the other side. Right hand reaches back, left hand reaches forward, and the palms are facing to the right. Now come back to center with your gaze, reach up, and exhale the hands down on either side of the right foot. Now tuck your toes, bring that left knee off the mat, and then step the left foot forward so it meets the right foot. Let your head drop down. Take opposite elbows. Press the elbows down towards the mat. 3 more breaths. Two more. Bring the weight forward into the front of the feet a little bit. Bend your knees if you like. Now keep opposite elbows, press into the front of the feet and rise. See if you can keep your biceps on either side of your ears, engaging the core deeply as you rise. Reach up through the elbows. I'm going to turn to face you here. Reach up through the elbows, getting really tall there, feeling a stretch in the armpits as well as the shoulders. Now bring your feet so they're a little bit more than hip width apart. And now take a bend to the right, lifting the left elbow up, and reach that left elbow up and over so you feel a big stretch on that left side of the body. Now engage your core as you rise, reach the elbows high, and then come over to the other side. Do that again. Inhale up, and exhale over to the right side. Inhale and rise, and exhale to the left side. Let's do it one more time on each side. Back to center. Last time. And back to center. Reach up through the elbows. Now pull the elbows back, bend the knees a little, find a back bend, and then release the arms and swan dive forward fold. Come to a half lift. And release the head down. Bend the knees a little if you want. Now leave your right foot forward. Take a 3/4 step back with the left foot. Bend the right knee and rise to Warrior One. And remember in Warrior One, what we're working on is trying to square the hips towards the front of the mat. So the shoulders stay square to the front of the mat. The hips stay square to the front of the mat. Then the arms eventually reach back up and overhead. Now rebend that right knee a little bit. Now bring the right hand behind you. Bend the right elbow so the back of the hand is right in the small of your back. Press the hand into the small of the back and reach up through the left hand. Keep that right knee bent as you hinge at the hips and fold forward. Reach forward with the left hand. Now press into the right foot and rise. And do that a second time. Reaching forward with that left hand, press into the right foot and come back up. One more time. 3 times on each side. And then rise all the way back up. And then bring the hands to heart center. Bring the weight into the right foot and step the left foot forward. Bring the toes apart so that the toes overhang the edges of the mat. The heels are closer together than the toes. You know where we're going. Let's come down to a yoga squat. Elbows to the inside of the knees. Take a breath. Upper body nice and vertical. Upper body almost perpendicular to your mat. Feel the hips opening. Maybe press the elbows to the inside of the knees a little bit more, helping to open the hips a little bit more deeply. Now bring the hands down to the mat. Spread your fingers wide, thumbs pointing towards one another. Press the hands into the mat. Lift your hips, straighten your legs, let your head drop down. Now bring the feet back so they're about hip width apart. Arms out to a T and rise slowly, all the way up. Now the hands come to heart center. Take a breath. Now the arms out to a T. Come all the way down. Now a half lift. Leave your left foot forward. Step the right foot back. About a 3/4 step. And then rise. You guessed it, Warrior One on our second side. Remember to square your hips. So bring that right hip forward a little for most of you. The left hip pulls back. Shoulders stay square to the front of the mat. Now bring the left hand behind you. Press the back of the left hand into the small of the back. Reach up through the right hand, so get longer on the right side. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward. Come down halfway. Maybe rest your shoulder on your left knee, and then press in that left foot and rise back up. Do that a second time. Coming down and rising back up. And one more time. And rising all the way back up. Now release the left hand, bring it up, and then exhale both hands to heart center. Now bring the weight into the left foot. Step the left foot forward. The toes point out again, so the toes overhang the edges of your mat. We're going to come down into our yoga squat for the second time. All the way down, elbows to the inside of the knees. So I gave you the side view last time, and you have the front view this time. And if you're feeling particularly spunky and you'd like to move into a crow pose, this is a great opportunity for that. We'll have about 3 breaths here. Some of us opening our hips, and maybe some working on crow pose. 2 more breaths. 1 more. If you're in crow, come out and back to malasana. And release. Come down to a seat. And now bring your hands down to the mat so that the arms are long, the arms are nice and straight. And see if you can press your hands into your mat. And then straighten the legs. And we're just going to pause here for a couple of breaths. This is a supported version of boat pose. The knees can bend here if you want to, if this is too intense. Now bend the knees, let the feet come down to the mat, and roll all the way down to your back. And once you're there, reach your heels up to the sky, into legs up the wall pose. Press the heels up and pull the toes down towards your face. Relax the back of the shoulders. Take a breath. Now happy baby pose. Bend the knees. Bring the hands to the pinky toe side of both feet. And then try and roll your tailbone down towards the mat, but without bringing your feet towards the front of the mat. So the soles of the feet are reaching still towards the sky, but the tailbone is kind of pulling down towards the mat. And you'll feel that that'll probably create a lot of sensation in the back of both legs. Now bring the soles of the feet together and then capture the feet with both hands. So cup the hands one over the other and cup the hands over the pinky toe side of the feet. And now pull the heels down towards your pubic bone, opening the hips up even more. Now release the hands from the feet. Reach the heels up to the sky into legs up the wall pose. Press the heels up, pull the toes down towards your face. Now let your knees bend and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Once they're there, press the feet into the mat and lift your hips into bridge pose. You can interlace your fingers behind your back if you like, drawing the shoulder blades closer together. But keep pressing the feet into the mat, lifting the pubic bone up, deepening your back bend. Let's find about 2 more breaths. And 1 more. And then release the hands if they're interlaced, and then bring your tailbone down to the mat. Once the tailbone lands, hug the knees in towards your chest, but keep the back of your head on the mat, please. Relax the back of the shoulders so you're flattening out the back. Now bring the feet down to the mat, and then come up to a seat. So bring yourself up to a seat. Bring the hands behind the knees, and then lean back a little bit and straighten the legs. This is a supported boat pose. It's a full boat pose because the legs are straight, and I'm supporting the back of the knees. Continue breathing in and out really deeply. Now see if you can pull your shoulders back a little bit and lengthen your neck. And stop thinking about how hard this is. Now bend the knees. Bring your hands to the pinky toe side of the feet. So grab the feet and then straighten the legs and simultaneously bring the feet apart from one another. Now just deep breath. Let your spine get long, so try not to round the spine too much. Maybe tuck your chin a little bit. And bring the soles of the feet back together. And then bring the feet down to the mat. So we've come to cobbler pose. Let yourself settle into cobbler pose. Try and relax the knees. So notice over time what happens is my knees actually relax down towards the mat. So maybe the knees are up here to start, but as you let yourself relax and let go of the tension in the legs, then you'll feel the knees moving down towards the mat. Maybe not a lot at first. It may take a while. 1 more breath. Now, bring your hands behind you and then roll down to your back. Keep the soles of the feet touching one another and maybe pull your heels back closer to your pubic bone. This is Supta Baddha Konasana, an inverted or an upside down cobbler pose. Now reach your arms up and overhead and then take opposite elbows and see if you can bring both elbows to the mat, stretching out the shoulders. 2 more breaths. And 1 more big, deep breath in. And exhale, let the breath go. After all the breath is out, lift the hips up a little bit by pressing the pinky toes into the mat. The outside of the feet pressing into the mat. Also press the soles of the feet towards one another. 1 more breath. And release. Bring the tailbone down. Knees come back together. Release the hands. And bring the hands to the knees. Bring your knees up and towards your chest. So hug them in. Then release the feet up to the sky. Legs up the wall pose. Relax the back of the shoulders a little bit so you feel your back kind of flattening out. You can remain where you are in legs up the wall pose, or if you want, you can bring your toes up and overhead into plow pose, touching down on the floor behind you perhaps. A couple of breaths wherever you are, either legs up the wall or plow. Now those of you in plow are going to move to shoulder stand, and if you're in legs up the wall, you can move into a version of shoulder stand or remain in legs up the wall. If you like, just lift your feet up so the feet end up over the hips and the hips are over the shoulders. That would be a full version of shoulder stand. Or maybe there's a little more bend at the hips for you. Maybe a half or 3/4 shoulder stand. Either one is okay. Those in shoulder stand, if you got here from plow, return to plow now. And then everyone back to legs up the wall pose, where we'll meet. Palms down by your side, press the palms gently into the mat. Now press your tailbone down into the mat, feet up towards the sky. Now arms come out to a T and bend the knees. Let the knees travel to the left and then back to center and to the right and back to center and to the left and back to center and to the right. A couple more times through to the left and then back to center and to the right and one more time to the left and back to center and to the right, and this time let your knees come down to the mat or the floor and land. Move your gaze so you're looking off to the left. So the knees are to the right, the gaze is to the left in this very gentle supine twist. Now let your knees come back to center and then over to the other side. So the knees are going to go to the left and the gaze is going to move to the right. And one more breath. Now back to center. We're going to do another twist here. Walk the feet out so the feet end up at the edges of the mat. And then keep the feet at the edges of the mat. Otherwise, the feet are kind of in the same position you'd have for bridge pose, except the feet are wide, obviously. Now, let the knees, both of them, travel over to the left, and the left knee may land on the mat. The right knee probably will not. And then bring your gaze off to the right. Now for me, I feel a lot of sensation in the right hip and that right quadricep, not so much in the left side. And the more that right knee comes down towards the mat, the deeper those sensations become. Let the knees float back to center. Keep the feet on the mat and then over to the other side, so the knees are going to travel to the right. Your gaze is going to move to the left. One more breath here. And then let the knees come back to center. And now hug the knees into your chest. And then, if you like, bring your forehead towards your knees, rounding your spine. And then release the feet up to the sky. Bring your hands down by your side. Legs are nice and straight. Press through the heels. And now point your toes. Keep pressing the palms into the mat. Keep your legs straight and let your heels float all the way down to the mat. We haven't done this for a while. This normally creates a lot of engagement in the abdominal muscles. And if you pay attention, you're probably going to feel that engagement move down as the heels come closer and closer to the floor. It gets harder and harder to keep them there and move slowly, but do your best. And then eventually the heels are going to land. And once they land, let go and let's find Shavasana. You can let your toes flop out. If you like, you can flip your palms so they face up. Do your best now to let go of all effort. You can let your attention move to your breath, following the breath as it flows in and out. One of the things that allows us to do is to have a point of focus for our awareness. In this instance, we're focusing on something that is almost always with us. In fact, it is always with us, and that's our breath. Keep following the breath in and out. Now take a quick scan of your body and begin to notice very systematically whether you feel tension in your body anywhere. And if you do, kind of store that information away for a moment. And then after you've made a complete scan of your body, then go back over and find those areas of tension, and each time you exhale, see if you can release just a little bit of the tension. You don't have to let it all go. Just a little. And as you move through this process very systematically, eventually you will find that all the tension, all the muscular engagement is gone, and all that remains is peacefulness. Your body will be completely at peace. You will have found a beautiful softness, a sweet surrender. Now start to become aware of the fingers on your right hand. And if you like, you can start to allow those fingers to move a little bit. And then bring your awareness to the fingers on the left hand. And notice how those fingers are starting to move. When the time feels right, allow the toes to wiggle. Maybe move the wrists and the ankles. And eventually draw your knees into your body and then roll to your side. Once you're on your side, pause for a moment and just notice, that is, pay attention to what it feels like to rest on your side. Now bring yourself to a seat. And once you're seated, join me in bringing your hands to heart center. Press the palms lightly together. Draw a deep breath in now. And then let the breath go. As always, I offer you loving kindness. May you be happy, well, and safe. And may you be peaceful and at ease. Namaste.